Listen up, people. This is a true story. Somewhere around 2002, somewhere in there, because of where I was working, that's how I know it was somewhere in there. I was going out somewhere one night, pulled up to a red light, sit there waiting for the light, get the green arrow to turn left. So I proceed out there to turn left. All the traffic had stopped. All of a sudden I see a glimpse of something bright coming. So I'm thinking, uh-oh. So I floored it, trying to get out of the way of whatever was coming. Turns out it was an old lady in the middle lane that drove straight through and never hit the brakes and ran right into the back of my truck. Now my truck was still drivable. So I pulled over on the side of the road looking for the car. I'm like, all right, where'd the car go that just hit me? Lo and behold, I look behind me there on the corner where the bank is. She's pulled into the bank parking lot. She's sitting over there waving me over there. So I'm thinking, well, this must be who hit me. So I drive over there. It's an old lady about 4'2" maybe. Little tiny lady. Reminds you of grandma. And she's bawling. And I'm like, what's the matter? What's the matter? Are you all right? She said, yeah, I'm all right. She said, but this is my 4th accident in a month. They're going to take my license if you call the cops. So, of course, me feeling bad for her and feeling sorry for her, I'm thinking, well, maybe we don't need to. What's your insurance company? Well, she had Allstate, same as me. So I thought, well, then it shouldn't be no problem then. I'll give you my information. I'll give you yours. We'll let the insurance company deal with it. So we exchanged information. She goes on about her business. So mind you, at this time, I'm working at a dealership where we have insurance writers on the property that I know personally. Known them for a while. Years. So the next morning I go to work and then I go to the Allstate guy that works there and tell him what happened. And he looks at me and he says, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? He said, this lady, of course I can't say the names, but this lady called in this morning and said, you ran a red light and hit her. How's that for a grandma? Now I'm fuming. I'm thinking, are you freaking kidding me? She admitted it and knew that she ran the red light. And obviously you could see where the cars were hit, that she hit me. And there's no way I went across 6 lanes of traffic and didn't get hit if I ran the red light. So anyway, Allstate guy says, he said, yeah, that's what happened. He said, but we know the truth without even talking to her. He said, we pulled up her record. She's had 4 wrecks in the last month. I said, yeah, that's what she said. So I told him, I said, so what are we going to do? Well, she's trying to blame you for the accident. And I said, well, that's not going to happen. I said, this happened right in front of a bank. I said, I'll go to the bank and I'll get them to pull up the footage on their cameras because the cameras are looking right where it happened. Oh, no, we don't need to do that. We'll just do it in-house. Since you both have Allstate insurance, so it's no problem. We'll just take care of it in-house. I said, yeah, but I don't want to be charged for an accident. I said, it wasn't my fault. It was her fault, and she knows it. He said, don't worry about it. You're not going to get charged for no accident. Now, mind you, I've known these people. I worked with them for years, and they work with me at a body shop. 2 years later, I decided to buy a new boat. And when I bought the new boat, I went to get my insurance for the boat. And they said, well, your insurance might be a little bit higher than normal. And I said, well, why is that? They said, because you were in an accident 2 years ago. I said, what? Excuse me. So they told me, and they pulled it up. I said, he told me nobody was being charged for that accident. I said, I was going to go get the footage to show it was her fault. He talked me out of it. Now, I worked with this person. And come to find out, they had charged her for half the wreck and me for half the wreck. So, from that point forward, I got into another little fender bender, and the guy just barely put a little something on my truck. Just wrinkled the bumper a little bit, no big deal. But his car was tore up a little bit, so he bumped into me, ran into me. So he says, well, let's just exchange numbers. I said, no, we won't. I said, we're going to sit right here till the cops come. He says, you're going to call the cops because of that little fender bender? And I said, yeah, and I'll tell you exactly why. So I told him. So we sat there. So if you're in an accident, make sure you call the cops. Don't believe they're going to do the right thing because apparently Grandma didn't do the right thing. So here's the point of this whole story. I worked side by side with these people and knew them. Knew them very well. And they screwed me. Just like that. And I worked with them. Now, you tell me. Do you think they wouldn't screw you the same way? The general public? When they call you and ask you about an accident and say, oh, was anybody hurt? They're not concerned about you. They're concerned about their wallet. They just want to get you to say, oh, no, I'm fine. So then a month later, when your neck's hurting really bad, you don't know why. Oh, well, you said you were fine. Must be something else. So trust me when I tell you, insurance companies are the biggest scammers out there. And they will screw you. And they're all like that. And do I still have Allstate insurance? Yes, I do. Because they're all crooks. And some of them are a lot worse than that. That's why I haven't changed. Next year, I'm going to start doing a series of videos. So if you've been in a car accident and you've had issues with your paint or whatever, I've been a paint tech for years. I've been in body shops for well over 30 years. So I'm going to try to start helping people that get into problems with their paint, different issues. Like, for example, this one guy that it was actually somebody that worked at the dentist was in an accident. And the insurance company sent him to Maaco. I wouldn't let Maaco paint my wagon, let alone my car. This was a BMW. So he did what he was told. So then he told me he wanted me to look at the car because the door didn't match the quarter panel. So I went out and looked at it, and I said, that's because they panel painted the fender and the door. They didn't blend out the quarter panel. I said, you have to blend out the color in order for you to not to see it. It's actually an illusion. It's not the exact same color, but you blend it out so nobody can see it if you're good at it. So anyway, he said, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, you take it back over there and make them fix it. He said, oh, I don't know if I want to go through all that. And that's why they keep doing it. So anyway, come January, I'm going to start a new series of videos, and I'm going to be telling everything you need to know about auto insurance companies and what they'll do for you. And it's not for you, it's for them. So stay tuned. I only ask one thing. Follow, like, and subscribe on my YouTube as well as this one. Same name. You guys have a great day. And if you're in a wreck, make sure you call the cops. Protect yourself.